3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Red River, hey, welcome to the Red River Real Talk Podcast.
Let's go.
That's where we're going. I forgot the name there for a minute. It's been 3 weeks since we've been able to do this. Life has been so stinking busy. It's just been hard to find a good Tuesday. That's why we're doing this on a Friday morning. You know, this weekend, my son, he's 18 years old, and he graduates this weekend. So life's been really busy trying to get everything going around. When it's over, I got to get back to work next week. I got to get back to work and start hard and heavy. Hey, we got my good friend, my best friend, Johnny Hunt, with us today. He's a pastor out of Fairhope, Alabama, Celebration Church, and does a great job. Been there 10 years, a decade. He's been away from me now for a decade.
10 years.
And, but we still stay in touch. We talk probably every day.
Come back, visit. We're in for the graduation. So he said, you want to do the podcast? I said, absolutely. What are we talking about? Mitch, tell him.
I said, well, I don't know. But then somebody sends me a link of I guess, a TikTok viral. It may be a year ago. It can't be a year ago because they weren't advertising the Ford
Raptor out there?
Ranger
The
a
Ranger?
year ago. But anyways, it's TikTok viral now. So it's coming back up now. And it's a pretty sweet commercial, really, right up until the end, where they go pushing an agenda of trying to, and I don't, we hire these guys. We got Evan over here. We got Dalton over here. We hire these guys to help us with marketing. Mm-hmm. And so luckily, Evan came from high school. Dalton came, he dropped out of college. No, he finished college. Okay.
Right.
But he did come from college, but it wasn't a liberal university. But a lot of times you're hiring these marketing people that you think are good, and hey, they're really creative. But a lot of times creativity comes with some you're a little out there stuff. And so basically this ad is advertising a product, which is really good. But at the end, they have to push an agenda. And the agenda is not just the LGBTQ agenda, but it also, I think it had some the extra colors in it now for the transgenderism. I'm not sure. I don't know all the woke stuff. You may know all the woke stuff.
I don't know all the woke stuff, but I'm slowly having to educate myself with it because people talk about it a lot. So we kind of have to figure out what all of it means. That, 20% of the alphabet's been
Stolen
used.
Right.
Stolen.
Well, the rainbow. What's a rainbow?
Yeah.
Rainbow. What's the true meaning of the rainbow?
It was God's promise; He would never flood the earth again. So
it still is.
Yeah, it still is. Yeah. When I see the rainbow, I don't think there was no vote on it for someone to steal it or take it and say this is our pride of freedoms. It's not. It's a sign that God will never flood the earth again like He did in the days of Noah. So it's a covenant promise to the child of God. So, and everybody else gets to receive the benefit of it. There's no more flood like that.
Yeah, and whether you're for the LGBTQ or transgenderism or whatever, the point is there's no point in this ad to throw that out there. It used to, 3 years ago we started talking about this. It's 3% of the population. You're wasting millions and millions and millions of dollars. 3% of the population, and now it's probably 5%.
Yeah.
But even that 3%, I know a lot of gay people that'll never drive around in a rainbow car.
No.
They're never probably going to flaunt a rainbow flag. They just say they're gay and that's who they are. They're not going to go try to push it on you. But Ford, in this instance, what they say it's European Ford, but either way, it's Ford, Ford company, decided to represent. And so I would say it's even less than 3%. It's probably 5% of that 3% that even care about pushing that agenda. Yeah. What would you say?
I would say that, it would be we see these marketing people that go to school and they get training for it. In marketing, you want to have the biggest effect that you can have on people when it comes to advertisement and have the most influence that you can. And so if you did that for every type movement that comes along, we're going to we're going to wrap a vehicle in this flag or this type of thing. And at some point you realize is people buy your product because you make it well and it runs well and they believe in the product. They could care less most of the time about the things you support until you start trying to be contradictory to what they kind of held values for a long time. So you can look at recent situations that have happened when it comes to Budweiser, this also Michelob Ultra or Anheuser, Anheuser-Busch, that what they've kind of ridiculed. And now you've got all these artists that says no longer on their rider, things like that. And I don't drink at all. I wasn't buying Bud Light anyway.
But you quit anyways, didn't you?
Well, only for your boy's graduation.
Yeah. Well, and take for instance, I don't think I'm not for abortion, right?
No.
So I'm not going to run an ad on a car business and then at the end of it have my Ranger in a nice fetus in a womb.
Yeah.
You know, even though that's 50% of America would agree with me instead of 5% or 10% of the 5%, 50% of America would agree with me and say, oh yeah, go. But that's not what I'm selling at this moment. I'm selling a vehicle. I'm selling my dealership as we're going to take care of you and sell you cars. Now, if you want to come to me on a personal area and sit in my office and ask how I feel about it, I'm boldly going to tell you how I feel about it. I'm not going to build an ad to tell you how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
And you're building an ad for a large percentage of people that aren't going to agree anyway.
Yeah.
And so a large base of your consumers, they're not asking you to be a voice. And I would say that most people that make a choice, like the thing that's confusing is why does anything that I choose to do, why do I look for the affirmation of someone else to whether I do it or not, or look for a big company? I don't think most people are looking for a big company to endorse them for a life decision they make.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not...
most people they're advertising to are driving Subarus anyways.
Most of the time.
Maybe they're trying to get that 5% of the thing.
Hey, funny story.
10% of
I
the
made
5%.
that. I made a little joke to one of my staff guys' moms. I said, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. I said, whose Subaru is that in the driveway? She said, oh, it's mine. I said, oh, do you shave your armpits too? I was just asking. And I was just joking. When she got all sensitive, I was like, well, normally it's like...
She don't shave. Yeah, most of them.
Yeah, most of or I said...
not most of them, but that's kind of the perceived...
it's just a joke. I have no idea that... I mean, one guy was picking on my son's hair. So our kids played basketball together. And he was busting on. He said, oh, you got to pull that hair back, man. You got to get that haircut. And went outside, and that dude was driving a Subaru. I said, don't ever talk about my son's hair.
Dalton and Evan don't get it because they're young. So
sorry. Real earthy type, kind of vibe. And it's basically, used to make the joke.
The Subaru guy would be the guy with the long hair, ponytail.
Long hair, ponytail, maybe,
with the chocolates on, and he's making fun. I got it. I get you, John.
Yeah, it's going to use recyclable toilet paper.
Right, yeah.
And so it's going to be.
Let's get back to the marketing, though. So do you think, because really, if you look at it from a marketing strategy, if anything, it hurts. I can guarantee you, Dalton said there's been a lot of hate on it against the ad. I've already had people texting me for this TikTok viral. So there's going to be people that say, I'm not going to buy a Ford because that angers me, and I can't believe they're put just like Bud Light. But I doubt. I can promise you there'll be very, 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 very small percentage of people say, "Oh, I'm gonna go look at Ford."
Yeah,
because they don't care if they're. I mean, I can assume. I mean, a gay guy's not going to care that you put a rainbow on a Ranger. It's not going to change my mind to suddenly want a Ranger. I would think, but I don't know. But I think there's big money. I know you're starting to follow my conspiracy theories now.
Not as much.
I think there's big money behind some of these that are pushing the agenda because there has to be, because there's no financial sense. It doesn't make financial sense other than somebody else is feeding me something that I'm going to get in the future if I do this. Or maybe Ford was bribed from somebody. Maybe the marketing team was bribed. I'm just hoping that's kind of like Budweiser would happen is somebody inside the marketing team did that. And now they're like, "Oh crud! How do I back?" Well, I can't back up and apologize. I'm gonna look like a bigot.
Well, they tried to bring in, in the other advertisement thing you mentioned, they tried to bring in someone that could get outside the whole, I guess, the college frat mentality, and get into maybe the next generation of they can't even legally buy it.
Yeah.
And so there's this, or get away from the good old boy system where they think everyone drinks. But most of the time, people pick what they drink off the flavor they prefer, not based on the agendas they support. And so everybody's trying to make an argument about, well, we want to make sure we're inclusive. I've never ever looked up the inclusivity of anything. I wonder if they're inclusive of this demographic and that demographic and that demographic. When I stop to purchase fuel, I don't research which fuel company I need the fuel to go in my vehicle, to go from there. So to me, it's kind of foolish to make so much, trying to make a statement. And so
I kind of quit getting fuel from the people that made me wear a mask.
Yeah,
I did do that.
I would say it this way.
Never mind, nobody made me.
I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those things where where they may they're trying to win a battle, but they're losing the war. They're cutting their nose off to spite their face and an opportunity to try and show, well, we just want to make sure that we're for.
Yeah.
Most people could care less what you're for. Ford, build the truck, build a good vehicle, build a dependable vehicle, and get out of this side and go back to doing what you're supposed to do. And that's build a dependable vehicle, an affordable vehicle.
And send us the darn parts when they break down so we can fix customers' car.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you they don't care if they're gay, transgender, a guy that likes to be a guy, or a woman that likes to be a woman. They want their daggum car fixed. Send us the parts without us having to go jump through hoops. That's what they want, Ford. That's all they want, is to be taken care of. Everybody. Be all-inclusive and take care of every single person, and then you win business. That's what we try to do as a dealership, try to take care of anybody. If somebody calls me a complaint, I'll say, hey, are you gay? Are you white? Are you black? Are you transgender? Well, wait a minute. How do you feel about abortion? I don't ask those questions. I say, what can I do to take care of you and help you? And that's how things should happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got two trucks basically racing.
I guess one's a man truck and one's a whatever you want to be truck? No.
The end of the tagline is
Yeah.
redefining tough.
Redefining tough. So are they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, so let's get back to that. So I got two boys. All right, I got two boys and I got a girl.
Yeah.
And maybe I am a bigot. I taught my boys to be men. I teach them to be men. Sometimes I bully them. I bully them a little bit to be a man. They call it bullying. That's what it's called now.
He really doesn't bully them, but that's the term someone may use.
Right, that's what they call it now is bully. I tough them up, teach them to be a man. There's nothing wrong with standing up and being a man. So why are we going to try to redefine what it is to be? Oh, I know why. Because they're redefining what it is to be a woman. So they got to be all inclusive.
Yeah.
They got to go after the men now too, huh?
Yeah, you start seeing all of these. If you take in a younger generation, if they play, if they're very athletic, then they must not be normal, or they enjoy performing arts, and they must not be straight or any. And that's really not the case. Being a man and being a female has to do with how you were born. And so the assigned gender that you have, gender when you're born. Like I never one time held up my child and went, I don't know.
No, that's sex. Gender you can choose later.
That's so they say. So it becomes a terminology conflict. It was like, no, you're talking about the sex you're born with, not the gender. The gender is a choice. Yeah. But so whatever stupidity you want to approach it with, an argument you want to make, but. I never held up my son and went, I just don't know what they're going to be. I don't know. I went, no. And I told them, God made them male and female. And see, the difference is as a Bible-believing Christian, I don't know why anybody would be mad at me for believing God made them male and female, because I look at the Word as the authoritative Word of God. It is every standard and discipline that we base our life off of. Now, I'm a later convert in life, so I come from a very dysfunctional, broken family. My dad busted for cocaine in '88, and he could have cared less what anybody flew in a flag or any of that stuff. Now, he may run his mouth and pick about it, but lifestyle-wise, he didn't care. On the other hand, there was this good old boy redneck kind of backing system, but why don't they do a truck ad for that?
For what?
For just the good old redneck buddy system. Do they do a...
Because that would make too much money.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I don't know.
Maybe.
Remember when Dodge did the what it is to be a farmer ad?
That was nice.
Use
the Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
Right? Use the Paul Harvey deal.
What it is to be a farmer.
God made the farmer.
God made the farmer.
Yeah.
Oh, it had God, had farmer, had man in it. Crazy. And I mean, people poured in wanting to buy that truck after that. They felt they felt like it was a part of who they were.
Yeah. The kind of conservative values, kind of part of it. Look, the truth about it is what does a Raptor Ranger run anyway? How much?
Oh, I don't know yet. I'm going to bet you. It used to be $48,000. But Ford got mad that dealers were marking up prices, so I'm sure it's $62,000. Thanks, Ford, for marking them up. We had a temporary markup. Now you came up with a permanent, and they lost $3 billion last year.
And congratulations, you're about to lose some more, because when you tick off the largest support of a base that you have, congratulations.
Yeah.
See how that's working out for everybody else.
It's crazy. We sell all of them. We sell Ford product. We sell Toyota product. We sell Dodge product. So the problem is we have to live with whatever they're marketing.
Yeah.
And what I'm begging you, Ford and Dodge and Toyota, market what we sell. Just market what we sell. If you got people inside of your business that want to give money somewhere, tell them to give money somewhere personally. But as for me, I've sent out a memo to all my marketing team, my managers. I said, from now on, when we sponsor something, instead of just throwing them money, we're going to dive a little deeper to see what they stand for.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure they're not trying to push something outside of just do what you do, right?
Well, if the largest percentage of this that buys your product doesn't hold the same value, if you begin to kind of push an agenda, what they hope to is to be able to change the mind. But let me just ask you a simple question. Every morning the sun rises out of the what?
East.
And it sets in the where?
West.
And it's done that can't change it.
Yeah.
But what if I told you, hey, tomorrow the sun's rising in the west?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Well, to me, that's the West.
Well, we would laugh about it.
You would laugh about it.
There's no way. That's never going to happen. It's a lot like they did with the mask. I hate to bring the mask back. Remember when we said, there's no way they're ever going to force you to wear a mask? I can't do that. This is America. There's no way that a boy that will allow our insurance to pay for a boy to have sex change at 7 years old. This is America. Yeah, I guarantee you they can change the East from the West.
So if it infiltrates every part of marketing, then it becomes something that everyone's going to accept this as a norm. Yep. And most of the time, if they're going to change the mind of America and make America lose the ability to blush, they're going to do it through ads, do it through some kind of propaganda to be like, oh, if you want to... And let me just give you another example. I'm never going to buy a Ranger Raptor anyway.
Well, maybe that's why they changed that ad.
Maybe that could be.
They couldn't. You're too big for a Ranger Raptor.
Yeah, this don't fit in a Ranger. I'm a full-grown man. So
would you say that in America, we're slowly being rocked?
I think we're being cradled to a place to where you just go, well, I guess if I speak against this ad, then, Ford, you're going to learn a lesson that people speak with their dollars. And not everybody's going to lift up their voice. And so you're going to end up in a place where you're trying to cater to a very small percentage to show that you're inclusive and things like that, and nobody cares. Build a truck.
Well, here's what Ford will say. 'Cause if I know I've called ahead at Ford, they'll say, well, that's a European ad. Mm-hmm. That's in Europe. That's not in America. America Ford's different than Europe Ford. They're ran by different managers, different everything. But the only reason it's in Europe is because they've been slowly rocked to sleep for longer than we have. So it's coming, And again, I have no qualm with who buys the cars from me. I'm going to try to take care of every individual the same way, no matter who you are, what you believe, and that's how I am. I'm not going to push any agendas on you. If you want to walk in wearing a mask, even though I don't agree with the mask, I'm going to let you wear a mask. If you ask me about my faith, I'm going to share my faith in Jesus Christ with you, because that's my goal as a Christian, to try to help lead everybody I can into the kingdom of heaven. So it would almost be a sin not to. It would be a sin, I would say, not to, if I had the opportunity to lead you to Christ. So I'm going to do that. And
what's not going to happen? Yeah, what's not going to happen is conservative biblical people like us are not going to go grab signs and go boycott down at the Ford Motor Company. But what we're going to say is, man, you're really wasting a lot of money, and you're kind of it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do it. And no one is getting screened on whether they can buy a vehicle or not based on what they believe or what life they choose to live. Anybody can do this is America. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not forcing my life on your life. And so I don't know why the other side would want to say, I'm going to force I believe in. You've got to accept that. I don't have to accept anything. It is my free will choice to choose whatever I want to, just like the vehicle I drive. So, and I will never drive a Raptor Ranger, period.
Okay, now we got to pause for a word from our sponsor. Hey, our sponsor is Red River Outdoors. Check us out on our Facebook page at Red River Outdoors, Instagram, tag Red River Outdoors, TikTok. Unfortunately, we're on TikTok.
So Red River Outdoors, what do y'all do with Red River Outdoors?
Red River Outdoors, we got some guys that we sponsor. We follow them.
Cool.
Fishermen, and then we're going to add some more people to it eventually.
What flags do they have on there?
They're just trying to fish and hunt. That's the only flag they got. They want
Makes
fish,
sense.
Hunt. What's that country song? Fish, hunt, work. They want to have a good time, right? So the good people, and again, we make sure the good people we're sponsoring too, we're watching. And then we have some clothing that you can buy on Red River Outdoors. and redrivermerch.com. We have where you can get some clothing. And eventually, well, Red River Outdoors, we gave away a $100 fishing rod last week. Yeah, getting ready for our first event coming up. We hope to grow it. It's growing slowly, Johnny. So if you get your fishing boat back, we might can have you be a part of Red River.
I sold it. I'm out of the boat business. But unless you want to sponsor me, then I'll get another boat. Now, I have no issue.
Something else I want to talk about. It hit me. This question was at me, came to me twice last week. We are. I'm a Christian person. You know,
Yeah.
I've never tried to hide from my faith. We try to pray at our sales meetings. Every sales meeting we get a chance, I pray, for the Lord to give me guidance in every moment I have through the business, and I give God all the glory and honor for where I'm at. Anybody ask, how in the world did you grow the business where you're at? I'm saying the favor of God. It's the favor of the Lord that got us here, and that's all it was. So, sometimes our managers and a lot of times our salesmen will say, we're a Christian business, especially they meet somebody who says they're a Christian. We're a Christian business. Well, that's a term that I got to think about. It really can't happen. A business can't be a Christian.
Can't do it.
But we're a Christian-run business.
Yeah.
We are that. So what I'll get people, and it's always from Christian people, which is crazy. We'll call and say, I had one was very upset because the value of their car dropped in a year. They put 30,000 miles on it too.
Yeah.
But it dropped a lot in a year, 12, 15,000. And after the 30,000 miles, they said, I can't believe you're a Christian business and you're only giving me that for my car after I gave you this for your car. And then another guy calls and says, I'm very disappointed I didn't get a call back. You're supposed to get a Christian business from my service advisor. Nobody called me back. You're supposed to be a Christian business. Well, again, we already reached the point that a business can't be a Christian, but we are Christian run, but that doesn't mean we're perfect. And so, this one person, I said, being a Christian doesn't mean I can determine the value of a car.
Yeah.
Being a follower of Christ has nothing to do with you putting 30,000 miles on your car and the market falling like crazy on a $70,000 vehicle. It is what it is. That's a worldly fact. Good news is, as a Christian, we live outside the world, but, we're using the assets, and that's what dropped in value. Another guy, we make mistakes, right? Christians make, as a matter of fact, that's why I'm a Christian. The Lord helps forgive me of mistakes that I make as a sinner. I'm a sinner. I'm born into this world to screw up. And what do you say to that? I mean,
so a business is a business. It can't be Christian or non-Christian, but the people that work there and the people that run it can have Christian principles in how they do business and honesty and integrity. And look, the thing I can say about, a Christian man owning a company and that company trying to operate in certain values is that whenever they miss it, they can own it. Say, hey, I missed that. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, look, I bought 2 vehicles too. I would say this to the individuals, like, I can't believe the value of that car dropped. Well, my wife's driving one that dropped 25,000 last year. I'm not happy about it, but I'm also not mad at you about it because it has nothing to do. That's just what the market has done. That's the market. It's not a Christian market or a non-Christian market.
Remind me to come back to that about the government's involvement too.
And so what ends up happening is people will use that as a way to try and push you into, well, now give me more money.
Right.
Okay. So I used to work the worst job I've ever had in my life. I worked construction. I worked in the oil field for a while. Became a born-again Christian at the age of 19 and was working in the oil field. And before I went to Bible college, after I got called into ministry, before I went to Bible college, I was bouncing around between a few jobs. And I said, Lord, if you'll let me get a job that I can, and I'll hang on to it, I will work it until I go to Bible college. And I got the worst job I ever landed. I was retail type supervisor for family Christian bookstores. Retail can be trying, but Christian retail is terrible. So we had these tables in the front of the store that would have like 50% off, 80% off. And so people who were shopping may be on the way out the door and say, hey, I don't want this anymore, and just lay it on that table. Well, this lady comes up to me and she says, hey, I'm going to buy this. Okay, I ring it up. And she says, no, it was on the 80% off table. Ma'am, I'm sorry. Someone must have placed it there on accident. Well, can I speak to the manager? You're speaking to the manager. Well, the Bible says it's more blessed to give than receive. I said, well, good. Give me 100% of what we're asking and you'll be blessed to receive it. She didn't quite figure that verse to work that way. So here's what I say to people who run their mouth like that. Shut up. And stop trying to work everything out in your favor and then guilt somebody because they're a Christian to benefit you. You made a purchase in a market that you knew was going to come down.
Right.
You
wanted it.
Look, I bought a boat, sold it to a friend, got a new boat because I got tired of getting nickel and dime to death and I want a warranty. I sold it. Somebody gave me $27,000, somewhere around that, more, 5 months after I bought it, more than I paid for it. They said, would you take it? I was like, yes. Yeah, I think I will. I didn't go, man, are you a Christian or a non-Christian with that? I didn't care. They asked me. They wanted the boat. I sold them the boat. I got a bigger boat so I could take as many people on this boat that I wanted to. I just sold that boat and I lost $20,000 on the boat. And I went to the boat store where I bought it from and told them I sold it. You know what he told me? Congratulations, you got out in the nick of time.
Yeah, because they're fixing to come down even more.
He said, we're negotiating for the first time on boat. And so if you were familiar with how the COVID market happened, I mean, salesmen, I'm going to tell you this, car salesmen got lazy during COVID. General managers got lazy. You know what? I'm thankful that the market's recorrecting because now these suckers got to go back to work and learn the art of selling again.
Yeah, and it's more fun.
It's way more fun.
Yeah.
You got to hustle. You got to talk to people. That's what sales is. Before, they were just order takers.
Yeah.
You know, well, here it is. If you want to say sit behind their desk like a fat cat with no motivation, making all this money, and then want to complain. So I know most of the people have been working these dealerships. I've been Mitch's best friend for a while. I come in and I see Mitch used to bring me in and you say, hey, I'm going to bring you up to this dealership. You talked to me years ago about coming up because you felt like the salesmen were getting a little bit lackadaisical about going out and talking to certain people. They were, and I said, I don't want to come up and cause conflict. But when you opened one of the stores, one of the brand new stores, I went down there and I learned a great lesson. There was this guy in overalls that pulled up in a beat up truck, and two of the guys, the new guys, a brand new store, they said, oh, that guy's probably, he's just kicking tires. Well, you know what? I like talking to people. I went out there. That dude had been saving cash for years, bought a new vehicle.
Yeah.
And then they were mad. Johnny comes up here on his day off, and he's getting the same commission check. This is wherever I lived here, and I would go up there on my days off and help. But that was just to help him launch a new store. And I thought, well, if you get out behind the desk, you lazy sucker, and go talk to everybody, you might just sell one.
Every store I buy has that person in there. And really, probably, I need to go back. That's why I like bringing in new blood sometimes. Probably stores we have currently now are like that. You get to where you think you can judge somebody or, you know, lo and behold, I have a car out there that's kind of a classic or something, and tons of people come to look at it. Nobody wants to buy it. Salesmen are like, oh, somebody's coming to look at it again. I'm like, you're in the people business. Mm-hmm. Go talk to them. You know, you may know they're not going to buy that car or they can't afford a car, but they all know somebody else that wants a car, and you have nothing else to do. You're just sitting around. Mm-hmm. So go talk with the customer. And so that's part of being a Christian-run business is you want to teach people to love everybody.
Love everybody.
And talk to everybody, no matter what kind of class you think they are. Mm-hmm. What agenda they trying to push, what gender they think they are, but just go talk and love and visit with everybody, you know, as hard as it is.
So what comes down to when someone purchases a car anyway, when it comes to a Christian or non-Christian dealership, is they can be the greatest Christian person out there looking at a vehicle. If they come in and you pull their credit and they go, oh, we can't get a bank to do it, but if you'll work on this, this, and this. Let me tell you something really cool that I've seen this dealership does. I've seen them help people and asked them not to buy a vehicle because it was going to put them way more negative equity, and said, just drive this longer so that way you don't keep going into this deal. We helped a friend of mine like that, and you said, man, I'd love to sell you a truck. And you can go to another dealership and they will bury that in there and just pile it on top. But if you're ever going to get ahead, you're ever going to get out of this situation, you need to drive this truck for another year and then come in and talk and we'll do it. And you gave him what it was worth, pretty much. Look, everybody always thinks their vehicle's worth more. I got family members that I got an uncle that bought a boat. It's a Skeeter boat. It's got a two-stroke 150 Mariner or something on it, and he bought it in the early 90s, and he thinks it has increased in value.
Well,
because he owned
for
it
2 years.
Yeah,
it probably did that during COVID.
It's crazy, you know. But that's the way he works. He's like, well, I paid $5 for it. It's worth $50.
Yeah.
Well, why?
That's kind of how I feel sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
Hey,
let me ask you this.
We got to slow this, Johnny. It's getting a little long. But go ahead.
No. I want to. So I love that. I have a TRX truck.
That's what happens when you bring a preacher on the show.
And I really want the Desert Storm TRX, but I have a Christian friend that will not let me get the Desert Storm TRX because they're selfish. Do you know who that is?
You can call it Christian, or I'll tell you, like I told this other person, I'm not going to let you calling me a Christian bully me into throwing money at you. You know, just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean, well, here's $10,000. Say it again. Here's another $10,000.
Please don't think I'm a bad person.
It's my TRX. I've always heard stories. My dad all my life has always said, well, I wish I'd bought that car. I gave $2,500. That thing's worth $150,000 now. So lo and behold, I bought a $115,000 truck. I don't know if it's ever going to be worth money, but maybe 30 years from now it will be. So it's going to be sitting right there in that barn with 69 miles on it until that moment. So that's where we are. Johnny, thank you for visiting with us.
Now, I want to talk about the TRX a little more because there's
one more comment I do have to say about the people that have bought a car a year ago and that have lost money. You know, the government is constantly trying to jump in on people and or jump in on businesses. Right now, they want to, when you buy a car, we're going to have more forms to sign next month. If you buy a service contract, and one of them is to stop dealerships from advertising a price, say for $40,000. Then you get in the office, they say, well, it's $45,000. Well, why is it? Well, it's the team commitment, whatever dealership commitment. It's $5,000 extra. You knew we had a commitment, right? Well, yeah, but you told me the car's $40,000. Well, but you know, for us to have that commitment, it's $45,000. So it's going to be $45,000. So one of these forms is to keep them from doing that. Whatever happened to people being adults and have the right to get up and walk out and never walk in that store again? What do you mean to keep them from doing that? Nobody's got the door locked on them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you went into a store and they told you $40,000 and you went in the office and they told you it's going to be $45,000, what are you going to do?
I'm going to say, hey, thank you very much, but no thank you.
I doubt you're going to say that. It'd be a little more than that.
No, I'm not look, contrary to what you may think about this podcast, I'm not a rude person.
Yeah.
So when it comes to business, I go, hey.
If somebody tried to raise you $5,000,
I'd say, guys, that isn't the price we agreed to. So I really kind of don't trust the backside of this deal. So I don't want us to be sitting here thinking you're trying to get me. So let's just we're not going to do business together. I'm also not going to send anybody to you, but it's okay.
Excuse my language, you're full of crap. It'd be a lot worse than that.
Well, when he said excuse my language, I didn't know what was about to come out.
We have $129 service
fee
and handling fee.
Yeah.
And my customers blow up over that. So I can imagine being a customer and my price being raised $3,000 to $5,000 when I get in that box from what I'm told outside and not being upset. There comes a point in government that instead of creating laws against bad actors, maybe we should quit educating kids about all these social agendas you're trying to put and educate them about finances and bully them. Y'all call it bullying. Teach them to be tough enough to walk out of a deal when they try to screw them up. Teach them how to say no. So, you know the first way to teach a kid how to say no? Tell them no a lot.
Yeah.
There's another thing. Don't tell your kids no. My kid needs to know what no means so that he can tell somebody no. And I guarantee you, my kids walk in something, offered a price, and then it's going to be higher. They're going to say
walk out.
No, because they know what it means.
No.
You know why? Because I taught my boys how to be men. I taught my girls how to be a strong woman.
No is as powerful as yes. And you got to be reminded of that. A close friend of mine was buying a truck in South Texas. They work in pipeline. They go in there and they have the sticker price. And they go in there and they said, no, we have an $8,000 supplemental is what they'll call it, supplemental dealership, supplemental fee. And he said, well, I've got a friend who his best friend owns dealerships, and they said, no, he won't, and no, he can't. And they got me on the phone. And so basically he makes me the third baseman in that deal, and I get the sticker.
We love those.
Yeah, I know y'all hate them, but for this, he's like, oh, he can't do that. And, well, then it felt that guy was calling me a liar, and I was like, no. So then I get the GM on the phone and say, well, buy this truck, this deal. I said, how much? I said, oh, that's the MSRP. You sell it for the MSRP? He said, absolutely. Sorry, bro, we're not lying. He said, well, we could send it to Houston and make $8. Well, you have every right to do that. But the problem is I was buying it for sticker, which you used to, when did you ever get sticker for a vehicle?
Never.
Now, the expectation of people is like, well, if I could get it for sticker, that's a steal of a deal.
Yeah, well, it's going away, though.
Yeah.
Going away. Only on Broncos, Raptors, TRXs, what you want. Mine's a little over sticker. And I'll sell you that TRX today, $140.
He told me. He said one. He told me one. Well, you went up. He told me
for an investment. Well, it's getting worth more.
He told me one. He told me 130 one time, and he said, "I said, Mitch, why in the world would I do that?" I said, well, you don't have to. He said, I'm just doing what I want.
That's right. That's right.
That's the place where two fools meet, right?
I guess, and that's a point that everybody. Well, let's end this show right now with that. Somebody might want something and you may not want less. You can get up and walk out.
Yeah.
That's the freedom of America. Be ready to say no. If you go in to buy a car, be prepared to walk out. If things aren't what you think, walk out. You don't have to get angry. You can tell them how you feel and walk out. And they can call you later or they can follow you outside and talk to you about it and see where hopefully it's a miscommunication. If it's a bold-faced lie, just walk away.
Yep.
You know, you have the right not to buy something. You have the right not to buy something. Government, please stay out of our business. Help educate children. Educate them now. Thank you, Johnny, for joining the Red River Real Talk. That was some real talk we had. I don't know what we're going to title it. Title it, Learn to Say No.
Hey, you know it's a good real talk.
Yeah.
You know it's a real good a good real talk whenever the videographer and the producer are like doing this, doing that a lot. So this ought to be good.
I guess we can call it redefining tough.
Redefining tough.
Yeah.
Toughen up.
Yeah, right. Toughen up. Toughen up.
Take your truck through the mud regardless of the flag you have on it.
Well, if mine had rainbows on it, I would be taking it through the mud.
Covering it up.
I'm not driving around rainbow truck. I know it's the Lord's covenant, the rainbow, but you ain't catching me on no rainbow truck or a pastel color. I'm not into pink. I don't wear pink, you know.
Dude, one of your media guys drove a Bronco. It was a questionable color, but
oh, it was a weird color he was driving. It's kind of pinkish, wasn't it?
Yep, and I think he pushed that ad. He may have helped him.
Yeah, I don't wear pink. I know you wear pink. I know Joey wears
Real
pink.
men can.
I know Robert Etheridge wears a lot of pink. I just don't do pink. But I mean,
and wears a Mickey Mouse watch, but hey.
That has nothing to do with the rainbow. I just try to be a man. To me, I just think I'm going to be a man. The girl color is pink. I let the girls have the pink. The man's color is blue. The girls can use our color. I'm fine with it because we're servants to our wives, to our women. You know, we're supposed to be the leader. Let them use our, but I'm not going to take her color away. It's her color. It's pink. Thank you for Red River Real Talk. Check us out. Where are they going to check us out again? On our podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. You probably won't be able to catch this one on YouTube, so look for it on Rumble.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to hit a lot of this stuff. Redefine how we